65 million years ago, a 6-mile-wide asteroid missed Earth by 100 miles. The dinosaurs never died. Mammals stayed small, stayed scared, and stayed in the shadows. Which means you, a human being, were never born. This is the timeline that belongs to someone else. In our timeline, 66 million years ago, an asteroid 10 kilometers wide slammed into what we now call the Yucatan Peninsula. The impact released energy equivalent to 10 billion atomic bombs. The blast itself killed everything within 1,000 miles instantly, but that was just the beginning. Debris launched into the atmosphere blocked out the sun for years. Global temperatures plummeted. Wildfires consumed entire continents. Within months, photosynthesis stopped. Plants died. Herbivores starved. Then the carnivores that ate them starved. 75% of all species on Earth went extinct in what we call the K-T Extinction Event. But here's what most people don't realize. It was almost a miss. Asteroids pass near Earth constantly. If this one had arrived just 30 minutes earlier or later in Earth's rotation, it would have hit the ocean instead. Less debris, less darkness, less death. Or, if its trajectory had been slightly different, it could have missed entirely. The dinosaurs died because of cosmic timing, a random fluctuation in gravity millions of years prior, a fraction of a degree in trajectory, pure chance. So let's rewind and change one variable. 66 million years ago, that asteroid's path is altered by just 0.01 degrees. Maybe it passed through a different gravitational field decades earlier. Maybe a smaller asteroid bumped it centuries before. The rock passes 100 miles from Earth's surface, close enough that conspiracy theorists in some future civilization will claim it never existed, but it misses. The Yucatan Peninsula never experiences Armageddon. The skies stay clear, and the dinosaurs, they just keep existing. Now here's where it gets interesting. Without the extinction event, dinosaurs don't just survive, they evolve. And evolution, when uninterrupted for tens of millions of years, produces intelligence. In our timeline, mammals, who'd been small, nocturnal, and terrified for 160 million years, suddenly had room to expand after the dinosaurs died. We evolved. We got big. Eventually, we got smart. But in this timeline, mammals stay exactly where they were, in the margins, small, nocturnal, eating insects. There's no evolutionary pressure to get bigger because the big niches are already filled. Meanwhile, certain dinosaur lineages start solving problems. Troodon, a human-sized theropod with one of the largest brain-to-body ratios of any dinosaur, becomes the frontrunner. Over 10 million years, evolutionary pressure favors intelligence. Pack hunting requires communication. Communication requires bigger brains. Bigger brains require better coordination. Tool use begins. First rocks to crack shells, then sharpen sticks, then something that looks like technology. By 56 million years ago, 10 million years after the asteroid that never hit, a species that paleontologists in our timeline would call Saurosapiens has emerged. Bipedal, feathered, 5-fingered hands capable of precise manipulation and intelligent. Now let's jump forward 50 million years to what we'd call 6 million years ago. In our timeline, early hominids are just beginning to walk upright in Africa. But in this timeline, Saurosapiens have built civilizations. Not like ours, they're cold-blooded, so they cluster in equatorial regions. Their cities look alien, low, sprawling structures designed for creatures with tails, architecture that prioritizes sun exposure for thermoregulation. Their technology develops differently. They never discover fire the way we did. Their cold-blooded metabolism makes them risk-averse to burning things. Instead, they master solar energy millions of years earlier. Photosynthesis-inspired technology, biological engineering. By 2 million years ago, they've developed agriculture, mathematics, writing, philosophy. They debate the same questions we do. Why are we here? Are we alone in the universe? What happens after death? And here's the fascinating part. They develop science, but it's slower than ours. Why? Because they live longer. Individual Saurosapiens can survive 200 to 300 years. There's less urgency, less generational turnover. Ideas change, but gradually. While they're building their first telescopes, in our timeline, Homo sapiens are painting caves in France. So fast forward to now, the year 2026. What does Earth look like in this timeline? First, the geography is different. 66 million years of continental drift happened, but ecosystems evolved differently without the extinction event. Polar regions are warmer. Saurosapiens terraformed them for habitation. Deserts exist, but they're managed, stabilized by technology we can barely imagine. The Saurosapiens have reached what we'd call a late industrial age, but again, differently. They never had a coal or oil phase because they never had the concentrated forests that became fossil fuels. Their industrial revolution ran on solar, geothermal, and biological energy. They have cities, yes, transportation networks, global communication, but no internet as we know it. Their technology is more biological, less electronic. Think living neural networks instead of silicon chips. And mammals? We exist, but we're not the dominant species. We're the wildlife. The most intelligent mammal in this timeline is something like a lemur with above-average problem-solving skills. Humans never evolved. There are no humans. No Egypt, no Rome, no Renaissance, no world wars, no moon landing. All of human history, every thought you've ever had, every person you've ever loved, every book ever written, none of it exists. Instead, there's a completely different history. Different art, different music, different philosophy. Saurian Shakespeare, Saurian Einstein, Saurian Beatles. But none of them would make any sense to us because we're not wired to think like cold-blooded, egg-laying reptiles that see in the ultraviolet spectrum. Here's the uncomfortable question this timeline forces us to ask. Are we special? We like to think human intelligence was inevitable, that consciousness naturally emerges, that we're the universe's way of understanding itself. But this timeline suggests something different. Intelligence isn't inevitable, it's contingent. It requires the right environmental pressures, the right body plan, the right timing. If the asteroid had missed, none of us would be here to wonder about it, and the universe wouldn't care. The Saurosapiens would look at the fossil record and see their ancestors surviving the great non-event 66 million years ago. They'd study geology, find evidence an asteroid almost hit, and think, we're so lucky it missed. Meanwhile, the potential for humanity, for every human who ever lived or could ever live, exists only as unrealized evolutionary possibility. We're the ghosts in the machine that never turned on. So the next time you look at a bird, a pigeon, a crow, a sparrow, remember, you're looking at a dinosaur. They're the only ones that survived in our timeline. But in another timeline, their cousins never needed to shrink, never needed to fly to survive.